First off, a little bit about myself. I've been with the Glen Police Department for 21 years. I'm a patrol supervisor. I'm a sergeant with them, supervising the patrol division. My background is in the tactical realm, if you will. I spent four years on special operations, 5 years on special operations on two separate special operations teams. I then got involved in teaching all of our tactical response for the police department here, and I'm responsible and I supervise the tactical training unit, and we teach all the officers on our response to a critical incident and what that looks like. About 5 years ago, I got involved in teaching run, hide, fight, which is what we're going to go over here in a little bit, in the civilian response, if you will, to an active threat. Getting involved in that has been important to me. On my personal side, I have 6 kids in all different schools. I have kids in two in elementary, 1 in junior high, 1 in high school, and 2 in college. So the idea of school safety and having the school staff and the students know how to react in a critical incident is important to me, and is important. And I've translated that over into bringing that into my work, and bringing that up into District 41 now as well. So when I got involved with District 41, it was an idea of, okay, we have to do something. We have to kind of come up with a new plan. Back in the day, lockdown was the way we did it. If you remember Columbine, the law enforcement response to that was, okay, we need to have some way of communicating and some way of dealing with this, because the old way of just kind of surrounding and waiting for a special operations team to arrive was not working. So we started training on the patrol level on how to respond and how to act immediately in these crisis events. And once we had our response established, we needed to have the schools that we go into, and businesses and churches and anything else in the community where these events could possibly take place. We need to be able to go and let them know, hey, this is what we expect of you, and our response is going to be this. It makes our response more efficient and working better. And it also allows the students, the teachers, the staff to have more of a role in that response, rather than just locking the doors and basically just locking down and waiting for the police to get there. So we started doing in law enforcement run, hide, fight, which was developed and taken on through the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, as kind of the standard with regards to a civilian response to an active threat or to a crisis that is occurring within wherever location you may be. Tonight, we're going to be talking specifically about the school and what that looks like in District 41. There's other trainings out there. You may have heard of ALICE is the other big one that's used in a lot of school districts around here. ALICE is basically the same thing, but it's a private company that comes in and teaches the response and what they're looking for. But all it boils down to is the run, hide, fight. So the Glen Police Department has adopted that as our mode to push out into the community and say, this is what we have found to be the best response that we're asking of our community members, and specifically our school. And so that's why we do it. I've been to the ALICE training class. I'm ALICE trained. I've been to run, hide, fight classes. I have been through all these certification classes. And then when my discussions with the District 41 administration was, this is what's going to work best for us. We then took that, brought it to the teachers, brought it to the administrative staff, and said, all right, how do we teach this to the students? How do we let the students know this is what is expected of them on an appropriate age, appropriate level? Because obviously it's a little different teaching into the junior high level than it is teaching into a kindergarten or first grade level. I do understand that this is a scary topic to think about. Again, I'm a parent myself, and I send my kids to school every day with the understanding that the school is going to keep them safe, that the local police department where I live at is going to respond appropriately to a threat that may happen within that school. So I understand on your level as a parent, this is not going to be an easy topic to hear about or to think about. Nobody wants to think about that. But unfortunately, the world that we live in today is something we have to think about. All right, and we have to be prepared for. So one of the main focuses of the District 41 and their crisis plan and putting this all together was that there is a plan in place, because we want to have something if we do have a crisis. Okay, So rather than just try to fly by the seat of our pants, we decided this is what we're going to do. And it seems to be working so far. It's been very well received from the staff, from the teachers, as well as the district board and the administration. And so far, it has been received well from you all, the parents and the students as well, and bringing in different people to make sure, again, that is communicated on an age-appropriate level. Our ultimate goal with this is to make sure everybody is safe, okay? I'm going to apologize up front here again, knowing that this is a sensitive topic to talk about. I will try to keep it as, I will try to keep that in mind as best I can. However, this is a serious topic, and I'm not going to kind of hold back on some things as well, because the more knowledge we have and the better understanding of things you will understand why why the police department responds the way we do, why the administration, why the staff, and why the students respond the way they do in a crisis such as we're going to be talking about. Our bottom line on this, on the police department, we're looking at an active shooter, all right? That term is no longer really kind of used, because this could be any sort of crisis that involves the threat or the active threat that is occurring within a school building, whether it's at a school or the district office or at a school event within a school. There is a threat to life, and we need an immediate response from the police department. And that immediate response from the police department also includes fire personnel, medical personnel, EMS personnel, ambulance, and it also includes the response from the people that are at the event, the teachers, the students, and those people who are in the school at the time. Unfortunately, in Glen Ellyn, I can't be everywhere. Me being the police, we can't be everywhere at every time. If I could, I'd put a police officer at every school, and we'd be able to respond rather quickly. That's not the way that we can, though. So what we're looking to do is I'm not in the location immediately when it happens. So I know that it's going to take me a certain amount of time for my officers, for my resources to arrive on scene to help deal with this issue, with the crisis, with this active threat that is happening within a school. What we want to do is to provide as much information and knowledge and abilities and skills to the students, to the teachers, to the staff at that building, to be able to make a determination to do something in that window of time that it takes the police officers to respond to that scene. We're typically looking to about a 3-minute response time. All right, Glen Ellyn's not that big. However, it still takes us time to get to a location. In that 3 minutes, a lot can happen. Most active shooter events are over in that 3 to 7 minute mark. Okay, so we want to give, and again, we're focusing on District 41 tonight, but I go out specifically into different businesses within town, churches in town, because these events can happen anywhere. So what we did is we all collaborated and we decided run, hide, fight. What that means, and the base premise of what run, hide, fight means, is that, listen, do something. All right, we had the old school idea of lockdown. Lock the door, turn out the lights, stuff everybody into a corner. All right, prevent the bad guy from getting in, hopefully, because the door is locked. And we started seeing that there was a better way to do that. There was a safer way to do that for us to be able to mitigate the potential loss of life and to be able to minimize that potential loss of life. So the first part of run, hide, fight is the run part. All right, so we are going in, I am going in, instructors are going into the school district, going into the buildings. We teach this to the teachers, and then the teachers have disseminated this down to the students. I have not gone in front of any students. I have not given a presentation to students. This is strictly to the staff. And then the school district has decided, okay, how do we age appropriate level do that, like I said. So the first part is going to be the run part. Run being, we want you away from the building. We want everybody out of the building if you can get out of the building. All right. That creates a few other issues and other problems that we have to solve. However, it begins with getting everybody away, and I'd rather have problems to solve down the line and get everybody away from that active threat or that potential threat. So that is the first part, run, get out of the building. So when we talk about run, we are empowering the teachers and empowering the students and the staff to be able to make a decision, to be able to do something. All right. This kind of comes from, I had a lot of conversations with law enforcement officers around the country saying, listen, I tell my kids to get out of the building. So why are we not telling everybody else's kids to get out of the building? So we want the teachers, similar to a fire drill, but a kind of a more, uh, it's a quicker response and a more immediate response we're looking for, is to take as many students as they can and get them out of the building if they're allowed to. And we've talked about what they're hearing, what they're seeing, what they're feeling, and make an appropriate decision on their own. The teacher is not sitting there waiting for the principal to come over the PA system and say, all right, everybody can evacuate, or classrooms A, B, and C can evacuate, but you guys stay over here. So the teacher is specifically told and trained how to make that decision and to say, yes, I can do this on my own. I can make a decision on my own, and I'm going to take these kids and move them out of the building. Okay. That's the first part of run. Quick side note, what I want you to do is when you think about this, and as we start talking about this or continue talking about this, is not only put this in play within the school district, but picture it within your own life. I try to show everybody that this is something that you can be used any day throughout your life. If you're at the Walmart, if you're at Target, if you're out at a restaurant, anything can happen anywhere in the world we live in today. So the things that I'm saying, yes, are going to be specific to the school district and schools. However, it translates into everyday life for you all. So run, get away from the threat is what we're looking for. And if you can get out, we want them out. But we have gone to several trainings, and actually the district, Erica has come to trainings with me and other law enforcement professionals from around DuPage County and fire personnel. And we've talked about once they get out, now what happens? Because now I have an entire school or half a school or the majority of the school out in the open somewhere, and what that looks like. We train for that. The police department trains for that and bringing in different resources. But as long as they're away from that building and away from that threat, that's what we're looking for, to make sure that if there is nobody there for that person or those persons to go after, then they can't succeed in what mission they're looking to accomplish. And it buys us as police officers a little bit more time to get on scene and to help and to deal with that threat then. So the first part, run, get away, get out of the building. So that's what we're telling the students, evacuate out of the building. The next part of this is run and hide, or is hide. This is a little bit confusing, and it's not the best word, I don't think, but it is a word to be used. We're not hiding like we kind of used to in the back when we had lockdowns. Lockdown was you turn the lights off, lock the door, hide everybody into the corner, and hope that that threat or that bad guy or that bad person does not come into that room because they think it's empty. We have multiple incidents over the last few years and over the last decade of that not being a viable option anymore. So when we talk about hide, it's not hide. It is take an active role in securing the location where you end up at. So I have gone into the schools, and I've gone to each individual school and taught every teacher that works for District 41, or most at this point, with regards to what that looks like. And it's more of a barricade. We teach the teachers and the staff on securing the room that they are in. What that means is it's not just locking the door. It is pushing desks up against the door. It is putting some sort of other locking mechanism on the door if they have one. It is doing everything and anything, taking bookcases and books and anything they can to pile in front of that door to make it more difficult for that person who wants to come in and do harm to gain access into that room. Okay. It is taking an active role, just like the run part. It is taking an active role in their own safety. They're making the decision to do that based on what they hear, they see, they feel. They decide, no, I can't get out of this room. I'm not going to get out of this room. I'm going to barricade this room up, and I'm going to secure this. I'm going to make this my little fortress. All right. And I have gone in and I have shown them different ways to do that. And I have shown them different ways to secure that door. And my knowledge on how to break into those kinds of places, being on special operations teams for 5 years, I had to get into locations that people had barricaded and didn't want me to come into. So I understand the difficulty of that and coming in. So now I can go on the flip side and actually teach people to barricade to make it difficult for that person to come in. So we talk about hide, but it is not hide. It's not just hide in the corner and hope they don't come and find you. It is take an active role in their own response, and they've decided, okay, I can't leave, so I am going to secure this door, secure this entryway as best I can to make it difficult for this person to get in here. And again, I have gone into a lot of classrooms. I've gone into and taught every teacher and how to do that. And they have taken that to the next level and said, yeah, this is what I can do. The district has also implemented physical security elements within the buildings, at the entryways, in the classrooms, throughout the schools, put in more physical security measures to help those teachers be able to barricade and feel safer when they do lock those doors or put those measures into place, and to prevent somebody from coming in the first place. There's the physical security as well as the check-in points. Doors are all locked on the external side. As you all know, you got to get buzzed in to come into the building. So there's different things that have gone into play to make sure that building stays secure. So it's not just the teacher barricading during an active threat. All right. It's going to take a lot for that person to even get into that building to get there. What that means is as soon as we get the call at the police department that something is happening, we're responding, and it's not just 1-2 officers showing up there. My entire department is going to respond that's available. I'm getting resources from mutual aid resources from agencies that are surrounding us: Wheaton, Lombard, County Sheriff's Office, State Police, federal agencies who may be notified of this, and they're going to be responding. Obviously, the Glen Ellyn Police Department will most likely be the first on scene to most of our schools, and that time frame that it takes that person to try to breach into that school and then start walking the hallways and then start trying to breach into a room, all that is buying time and giving us time, the police, to respond. And as soon as, and studies have shown from the FBI, as soon as that person who is there to commit violence hears the police or knows the police are coming, it tends to end that scenario pretty quickly. They choose a few different options on their own to give up, and now again, that is minimizing that loss of life, or minimizing that potential loss of life through the district and through the building. So I've gone in and we teach that the hide portion, but again, it's take an active role in barricading your classroom or barricading the room that you end up in to make it very difficult for the police to get in, or I'm sorry, for the bad guy to get in. Why I said police is, as I'm thinking of this, we all saw the video recently of the active shooter down, and the video that was put out by the students with the officer knocking on the door and saying, no, it's the police, you can open up, it's safe. And those students did the right thing. And they said, I don't feel comfortable about this. All right, this doesn't seem right to me. And they took off running. They all evacuated themselves out of the window and went to a safer part of the building. Turns out that it was an actual police officer that was on the other side. However, we have understood that, and we put into play that we are not going to be knocking on the door like that coming in. All right. There's a process that has been informed to the teachers and to the staff there on how the police department is going to go around and secure the rest of that building, and what that's going to actually look like, so that they know, yes, this is an actual police officer on the other side, and we are now safe. All right. We can feel safe. So they know that that barricade is going to stay up until that process is done and put into place. And then they can start breaking that down. So the hide portion, again, is take that active role in securing the location of wherever you are. All right. The last portion of run, hide, fight is going to be the fight part. All right. And I don't want to be mistaken here. I am not teaching teachers or staff members how to fight. That is not their job. All right. I am not teaching students or relaying that students need to fight. The fight portion is basically giving the teachers, staff, and the students on an age-appropriate level and telling them they have the ability to defend themselves. Okay. And I am not teaching them to go and try to fight this person or go and try to stop this person. That is not what the Glen Ellyn Police Department are doing. That is not what I am teaching people to do. I do not want them doing that. I want them to run, get out of the building, or I want them to barricade up and secure up. However, as a last resort, if you have no other option, I want to make sure that people know they have a right to defend themselves. Okay. I'm not rolling mats out, and I'm not bringing any, training weapons or anything into a building. There are some companies out there that do that will bring in different things and let you actually try to fight somebody. I don't believe that is appropriate at a school. maybe in a different business with grown adults, but in the school and in the school district, we've decided, no, we're not going to be doing that. All right. But we do have a discussion that says, you have the right to defend yourself. And if you choose to defend yourself, here are some options within a school that you may be able to use to do that. Okay. Those different things are up to the teachers on how they choose to do that, whether it be just, throwing books. Everybody's seen that. They throw books or staplers or anything that they have in a classroom. And then help in getting those students involved if that is part of where we're at and they have that understanding that communication has been done through multiple drills. And again, we're required by state law to do drills here, to have the police department come in and do an active threat drill. And when we do that, the teachers then take that time in District 41 to sit down with the students and say, listen, this is what run, hide, fight looks like at the first grade level, at an eighth grade level. Okay. And they go through all those different portions of it. So when we talk about fight, it is not sitting down and telling the kids, all right, if bad guy ends up coming through the door here, we're gonna take him on. No, that is not what we're saying. We are just merely saying that they have a right to defend themselves, just like anybody else. If you are out with your family and you're at a restaurant and you choose, no, I have no other option, but I'm going to defend myself, you have that right to defend yourself, and you're not going to get in trouble for it. Nothing's going to happen. So that's what we want to kind of implement with that with regards to run, hide, fight. On the end part of this then, and this is one part of the training that Erica and I went to, and this just shows the relationship that District 41 has with the Glen Police Department. Well, again, we've been working for several years on this, if not longer, and I've invited them to training with us, and Erica joined us, and it's that kind of the end part of this, because obviously there's going to be a mass police response. I will probably have upwards about 300 officers on scene here when I call for them. Just for reference, everybody understands the Oak Brook shooting that happened on Christmas. There was, I believe, 300 to 350 officers that responded to that call. Okay, so you're going to get a huge police response. So I have students and teachers and everybody that has evacuated that building that is now in the neighborhood surrounding that building. I have parents who are getting wind of this incident occurring, who are trying to rush to the building because they want to make sure their child is okay. And again, as a parent, I 100% understand that. All right. Again, I would want to do the same thing to make sure that my kids are safe. Okay. However, as a parent and as a police officer now, I understand that there is a process in play. There is a plan in place to reunify students safely and efficiently to their parents. All right. And we are currently working on developing that and putting that into place with the district and what that looks like. And again, that was a training Eric and I went through that was put on through the state, and what that looks like and whose responsibility is and what, and how to make that run the best way that it can. So what I ask of you all as parents is to trust that process. All right. To trust your police department, to trust your staff at your schools, and to trust the teachers and to trust your students as well. And when it comes to the end of this event, the threat is no longer there. All right. We have the police department has done their job. Whatever has happened, the threat is no longer there. However, now I have 700, 600 students from a school that are all over the place. We do have a plan in place that is going to bring those students all back together, get them located. Again, I'm going to have 300, 350, and I can have more if I request more to locate every single one of those students. I need you all as parents to understand that coming to the school to try to find your kid is only going to complicate issues for everybody. It's going to complicate and frustrate you. It's going to complicate and frustrate the police, the fire, medical personnel, and the teachers and staff. To make this run more smoothly, all right, you will be given information once this incident occurs. The communications person through the district will start putting information out saying this is what parents need to do. And as long as parents follow that protocol, all right, their student will be returned to them as quickly and as safely as possible. All right. There is a plan that is in place with regards to how that looks out and where that is. So I'm just asking you all to trust that we have the best interest of your student, of your child in mind. And we at the police department have the best interest of everyone in that building in mind when we go and have to deal with this threat. So knowing that the after the event is kind of the biggest part of this, and going through that event is scary and is traumatizing. But afterwards, when you're looking for your child and you don't know where they are and you can't get a hold of them because the phone lines have been jammed up, understand that there is a plan in place that has been coordinated between the police department, that is with the school district, with our fire personnel. And again, not just Glen, Ellyn, because we're having resources from all over the region coming in to help us. And we are all on the same page. All right. I have trained with officers from Chicago, from far south as Springfield and Southern Illinois, out in the Quad Cities out west, so that we're all on the same page, that if for some reason a Rockford officer shows up and we're all have the same plan, they understand that plan. All right. The school district, and we have said, this is what we're going to do. This is the best way that we can do this. And we're going to do that. So because that aftermath is just as scary and traumatizing as that initial event. And I understand that. Not being able to know where your kid is, not knowing if they're safe, not knowing where they are or what's going on is traumatizing. So the district has plans with regards to pushing out communication as efficiently and as quickly as possible to be able to say, this is what's happening. This is where you need to go. This is where your student is going to be. And trusting that that plan is going to work and it's going to be efficient for you. Once that information is pushed out, wherever that location is, all right, I would like to ask that there's going to be a process that's in play there as well. All right. It is not just going to be everybody show up in some location that we've told you, and with the understanding that, all right, mass person, we just throw everybody together, go find your kid. There is a process, a paper trail, a check-in, a checkout to make sure that a student and a child goes with the right parent or with a person who has the ability and the authorization to take that child. Okay. And it's going to take us time. We're talking about 600, 700 kids potentially in a school. That is going to take time. So we have locations identified through the district and through the police department and other resources around to be able to facilitate that, but understand that. And again, we know as a police department, all of the officers here have children who go to school. The teachers have their own children in school. The staff who are going to be running this have their own children in school. So we understand that that process is going to be nerve-wracking, but it is in place and it will work. It's just going to take some time. Okay. The school has set up crisis management teams, and each school has a crisis management team that I have met with specifically to talk to them direct about what their role is going to be during a crisis event at a school, and what I'm looking for as a police officer and as a police supervisor coming on scene there from them. And the district wide has a crisis management team. So those crisis management teams are going to be activated immediately upon notification that this incident is occurring. If an incident happens at a certain school, all the other schools and all the other crisis management teams throughout the district are going to be notified and going to be put into an activation mode, and they're going to be going to a location where they're needed to assist, whether it could be with the reunification, whether it be at the actual crisis location to deal with moving kids and locating kids. So this plan is complicated, it's long, but when it boils down to it, all it is going to be efficiently and quickly and safely reunifying a child with the parent. So again, I'm asking you all as parents to trust that process. And when you get the communication from the district that says, I need you to go to this location, this is our reunification location, you get there, there's going to be a process that is put into place, and you're going to get information there, and just to keep following that information, because that is what's going to keep helping run that smoothly. If we start having problems and start having people not following that process, it's going to complicate the process. It's going to delay the process. All right. And that's going to frustrate everybody. And that's not what we're looking for. So we're in constant communication. There's trainings that are coming up in the springtime that I have several my supervisors and my officers going to be going to. I'm going to invite the district staff and district personnel, which I'm sure they're going to attend with us as well, because we get a lot out of that, and we have to continue to work together in these discussions. So when I talk, and briefly, when I talk about resources coming in, we not only as a police response, you're going to have the school response, you're going to have fire personnel that's going to be on scene there, and you're going to have medical personnel that's be on scene there. We have understandings of agreement with the different locations that we are going to be using as reunification sites, different locations around the schools that have been identified as locations where students can go to feel safe, and those agreements have been discussed. We have agreements with bus companies and the bus depot to bring buses in as quickly as possible, not just from Glen Ellyn, but from other districts, Naperville, Aurora, all these other places are going to be flooding us with resources. That is going to be a lot for everybody to manage. And so if I have parents who are not following along with that plan, it's going to complicate that, and it's going to delay that plan. All right. But we have had these talks. Everybody understands what their role is going to be, all the way down from the student who gets talked to during a drill about run, hide, fight and what that looks like, all the way up to the command level staff within the district, within the fire department, within the police department, who are going to be managing all these resources coming in. So again, I'm just asking you all to trust that process. At this point, I don't really have much more. I just kind of wanted to lay that out a little bit, and I wanted to open it up for the questions if there are any. This is something, again, that I take very seriously. The Glen Ellyn Police Department, our entire department takes this seriously. All of our officers, from my chief all the way down to my newest officer, are trained in how to respond to this, and not only in what our response is, but what the response of the school district is going to be, so we can work together and we can collaborate to make sure that everybody is safe with this, and everybody understands what their role is going to be with regards to if this crisis happens in Glen Ellen, all right, what that looks like and how we play that out.